basically receiving pressure from the green and black car of Naj Husain. If Robbie Foley can get around Naj Husain and then start reeling in Andres Gutierrez, that factor of having a teammate might help. And Naj Husain has had a big crash coming out just before the final turn. He is nosed into the barrier. The front part of his car is off to driver's left. The entire chassis is off to driver's right. Nose and tail of the car are separated.
Yeah, that's a big crash. It looks like he lost control on the curb on the exit of the corner. It looks like
too much curb.
Replay. Yeah, got on the power. Got on the power a little bit too soon there over the curb, and Kyle Masson there, who was running right with those two LMP3 cars. They got a heck of a lot more horsepower, the V8s in the PC cars, but Kyle was hanging right in there. Also a spin on that same lap for car number 34.
Jon Brownson.
Yep, the veteran driver. This is the 113th start in this championship. Naj, good to see he's okay. He's clambering out of that very badly damaged number 3 Ligier.
Very, very strong built cars are those Ligier. They have very strong tubs, and the more debris that you scattered, that's normally a good thing. That means that the energy is being dissipated and it's not going through the driver. Naj actually walking away from the car, looking back at it. I don't know if that'll be repaired for tomorrow. He was the one that we were expecting to inherit the LMP3 Masters points lead coming out of this weekend. Now all Paul Fix has to do is bring it home, and he will be in really good standing. He's got 50 points coming into the weekend compared to Lonnie Pechnik's 80, but Paul Fix now stands to receive the most LMP3 Masters points of any.
Replay of what happened. Just put the wheel over the curb. That went round so fast on Naj Husain. Yeah, these cars are fast, and you know, it's still only running what was only, I think, the second lap after the restart. So the Continental tires perhaps not yet completely up to fully operating temperature, and it just the car bit hard there on Naj Husain. A huge wreck. The car just catapulted across the road from that curb on the right-hand side of the track over the left and into heavy impact with that barrier on the left-hand side. 27
minutes remaining in this race, and this will be a lengthy cleanup because there are carbon shards across the entirety of the track. Now, our track and safety people are excellent at their jobs, and they will get it fixed as soon as they can, but this is a lot for them to work with.
It is, and boy, that was a nasty-looking impact for Naj. Good to see he hopped out okay. Bank balance not quite the same, unfortunately, because these cars are pretty expensive, and they're very good value for money to run them until you hit anything. And then the bill gets fairly large. So it's a great shame, because Naj has done a really good job this season. He'd finished in the top 6 in each of the races so far overall in the LMP and in the LMP3 class, and as you say, was second place in the points in the Masters, and only 8 points behind Lonnie Pechnik, he'd been classed second of the Masters in each of the 4 races so far this season. And Lonnie certainly had a lot more experience in any sort of a racing car than did Naj, but that's a premature end to his day. And with just a couple of the only 2 contenders, as you say, this weekend in the Masters class in LMP3, we had 8 in the first round at Sebring. So.
And that was a great battle that we were privy to. So how about a quick rundown of where they stand? Not much has changed from where we started. Colin Thompson in the number 14 Norma is our leader after 6 laps. Kenton Cook is second. But on that last time through, Colin Thompson put the hammer down, posting the fastest lap of anybody by quite a big margin, about 4/10. Andres Gutierrez is third. That's the number 12, the highlighter-looking car. Robbie Foley now slots into 4th. So now that situation that I was perhaps teasing a little bit earlier might come into play. Our MPC leader, the number 18, Kyle Masson, is back in 5th. Then in 6th, we find another one of our LMP3 cars. That is the 75 of James Dayson. 7th position is the number 7 of Chris Wright. That's an MPC car. Then Michael Klemecki in the number 31, also an MP3 car. Matthew Dicken is 4th in, well, he's in the 4th car, sorry, the number 4, in the 9th position. I'll get there eventually. And rounding out the top 10 is Kyle's dad, Robert Masson, in the number 11.
Yes, and Michael Klemecki then from Windsor, Ontario, Canada, leading the Masters class in the NPC cars in car number 31, 8th position overall, 3rd overall in the NPC category. And that's another good run for Michael. He wasn't at Sebring, didn't miss the first 2 races of the season, but won the Masters class and finished in the 2nd and 3rd positions overall in Mazda Prototype Challenge at the the 3rd and 4th rounds of the championship at Barber Motorsports Park. So Michael has been going very, very well of late. He had a good end to last season, and after skipping Sebring, has been quick this year as well.
He's one of those drivers who tends to do select races every year. Last year ran all 3 at the Glen, won all 3 in class at the Glen.
It's kind of a breakthrough for him.
It really was. At Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, ran both of those races, did not finish either of them. And then he ran the triple header that we had out at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. It was a Mazda-tastic weekend, I think it's fair to say. He was excluded from the first race, won the second, and then finished second in the third. So he was either winning or he was not finishing. There was no in between.
Win or bust. And unfortunately, the number 3 car of Naj Husain this afternoon is very much busted. So hopefully that team can get that car back out again for tomorrow. But it's going to be a pretty tall order, I think. That's the Extreme Speed Motorsports Ligier, running the same livery, that very distinctive, very attractive green and black livery of the ESM team. Naj ran with that team in a NPC car last season.